Hello and welcome to the handover video for your Autocruise Select 184. We'll start by going around the exterior of the vehicle, and when we come to the habitation door we'll enter to the inside of the vehicle. As we start to go around the off side of the vehicle, the first thing we come across is the water fill point for the freshwater tank. Please be careful not to put diesel in here, it has happened in the past. If you are on a site and you don't want to move, or you can't get access to a fill point, there is an external 12 volt socket here where you can bring along a water barrel with a submersible pump and pump water in to your onboard freshwater tank should it be required. Next thing we see as we go along the side of the vehicle is the grey waste tank drain point with the tap on the end. Currently the vehicle has got no water in it, just in case the weather turns nasty overnight, but we will have water in it on day of handover so that you can test the various systems. Cassette hatch, difficult to operate with only one hand holding the camera, but there we go. Down it comes. To release the cassette, up with the wee T-piece and draw the cassette out. To empty the cassette, well, I don't want to tell my granny how to suck eggs, but the euphemistically referred to as the crap cap comes off. Water is, or the contents are emptied through that tube there. Don't forget to release the air pressure by pressing the orange button at the back. Rinse out and then return home with a click and you're ready to go again. The electric hookup point is the next thing to find. It's just to the left of the access hatch to the chemical toilet. Continuing along the edge of the vehicle, we come across the flue. The boiler is below the rear lounge area of the vehicle. Don't be tempted to hang a cagoule or anything over there to dry it off, as the boiler will sense back pressure if there's any blockage, and the boiler will switch off for safety reasons. Hanging off the back door of your motorhome is your bike rack. It operates simply by pulling down, and then you'll see here that there is a strap that will hold it in place when the carrier section is down at 90 degrees to the frame. It's held up simply by the grips of these two catches here. Make sure they're securely in place before you travel. Sometimes it can be a good idea if you take the longer of the two bars and clamp it over the outside of this to hold it in place if you're travelling without bikes. So continuing the tour around the outside of the vehicle, we come to the other side where the gas locker is located. To open the gas, turn the brass ring anti-clockwise and your drive safe pigtail, press the release valve for the count of 5, and now you're good to go with gas flowing into the vehicle. Freshwater drain point is exactly opposite the grey water on the near side of the vehicle, and operates again with a 90 degree turn of the tap. Finally, the electric step, which we operate from inside the vehicle after opening the habitation door and finding the release button here. Stepping into the vehicle, you come across the control panel. Swift control panel, Truma control panel and light switch. Obviously nothing happening at the moment because we are powered off. Power on, and then we start having light around the vehicle. At the control panel, on off button for the water pump, more light switches from the rear of the vehicle, dimmer switch for the lights, and a light, finally, exterior light for the van for when you have your awning out. On this side, all these buttons will indicate state of play with various aspects of the vehicle. So we'll toggle through heater settings, system settings. It's a Sargent EC620. This is actually the starting point. Someone must have been going through the system before I arrived. Dimmer level, that's the level of brightness of the screen. The screen does fall asleep after a couple of seconds. To wake it up, just move your hands in front of it. These sensors here will detect the movement and the screen will wake up again. Internal temperature of the vehicle. Right, AC limit off. Tank heaters off. Select battery. At the moment, leisure battery is selected. Always operate on the leisure battery, obviously. If you use the vehicle battery and you run it down, you get stuck in the middle of nowhere. And solar power. Now, I'm filming this late in the evening, so we're not getting much in the way of ampage being put into the leisure battery from the solar panel. And condition. Vehicle battery is fair at 12.6. Leisure battery poor at 12.2. Obviously, by the time you come to collect your vehicle, you will have had it plugged into mains and there'll be full charge in both batteries. Now, moving on to the control panel, the Truma control panel. Switching this one on, a light comes on, and you can see at the moment we've got a line and some images above and images below. As I turn this dial, the image that's flashing will change one by one, step by step, and there's a back key which will take you back to where you were previously. So let's switch on. The image of the van is flashing. This is how you set the temperature for your central heating, as it were. So first things first, you select it by pressing this round dial. We're now inside where we can adjust the temperature. I've got it set to 30 just to heat up so that I can demonstrate to you on handover day that the van is warm. So let's enter at 30 and turn along. Next we come to a little thermometer and wiggly lines. That's the water temperature. Select it and you can either have off, eco, hot or boost. We'll put it on boost so that it warms up the water for you for the demonstration. Turn along. The next flashing symbol is the fuel source. Let's enter the fuel source and we have a choice of either gas, mix 1, which is gas and 900 watts of electric power. Mix 2 is gas and 1800 watts of electric power. Electric 1 is 900 watts alone. Electric 2 is 1800 watts alone. So let's select electric 2. Let's not waste our gas when we're plugged in. And then we have the fan, which can be on eco or high. That's because we have the central heating on, which is indicated above the line here. Flame means central heating on. Hot water is flashing because it's not come up to temperature yet. When it has, that will become constant. 2 electric or symbols of lightning bolts, which indicates electric 2, and then the fan. Now, we switch it back on. It falls asleep if you don't do anything for a while. If we had the central heating switched off, which I'll do for you now, and you come along to the fan would be off and you get nothing else. So the fan won't operate unless the central heating's on. There's no point in blowing air around the vehicle when there's no heat in it. This flashing symbol here is for timer. You can set a timer, a start and a stop, so that the heating will come on at different times for you, just like setting your central heating at home. And then we have the clock settings. We set the clock to either 12 or 24 hours, whichever you want on the day. And then we have the main settings where you can temperature, do you want it in Celsius or Fahrenheit, brightness of the screen, 12 or 24 hour clock, various settings all available there. And there's a little symbol here which comes on to indicate the fact that we are connected to mains. The table for the dinette area is stowed away above the cab during travel, although if there is nobody sitting in the seats you can have it in position while travelling. There's actually no law against the table being in position while you have people in the travel seats. However, in the event of an accident, if there was anything on top of the table, it would go flying around all over the cabin. So perhaps not in the best interests of safety to have the table out and things on the table while travelling. All the windows on the vehicle operate in a similar fashion. Catches come undone, and then the window slides away until you hear a click, and then it stays in position. When you close the window, you should never grab and pull. You should always push away from the click all the way to the top, and then she comes all the way home and can be locked back in place. Privacy screens come up from the bottom, fly screens come down from the top. And the same is true of all the other windows around your vehicle. The 12-volt compressor fridge has a control panel just to the left here. Simple on-off button. Press and hold, and then adjust the temperature of the fridge accordingly. Switch it off to preserve battery. On day of handover, the fridge will have been brought down to temperature for you before you arrive to demonstrate that it works. The best bet with the fridge, you'll have absolutely no problems running it off your vehicle battery as you are driving to bring it down to temperature, as the alternator will be putting more than enough power into the battery than compared to what the fridge is taking out of it, or you plug it in at home the night before departing anywhere and bring it down to temperature on 230 volts. Moving over to your cooker, quite simple to operate. Press and turn, press igniter button, hold for a couple of seconds. Once the thermocouple's up to temperature, the flame will stay on. Similarly to the other ring, hold for a few seconds, then the flame will stay on. We'll ask you on day of handover to please test this for yourself so that you're sure in your own mind that everything is working okay. Similarly, down below for the grill, press and turn, press igniter, hold for a few seconds. You can see the reflection of the flame in the nice shiny grill pan, and release, and your grill is now operating. Taps operate with a microprocessor. As long as you have the water pump switched on at the main control panel, when you raise the lever, the microprocessor will start the water pump and water will flow. Currently it's in the up position because we have drained the vehicle down just in case, but the water will be filled up to temperature, ready for you on day of handover to demonstrate that all systems are working. During a winter drain down, of course, you leave the tap cracked open like that so that you don't have a closed system. So if you do have any frost, there will be no damage, as the water will expand out the length of the pipe and not sideways. This is your rear lounge area, which easily converts into a small double bed. Down here you will see a section that pulls out. There's a similar section on the other side. The two rear cushions are placed into the gap in the middle, and it makes up a bed, as you can see here. Similarly, to make up a bed in the front dinette section, there's a lever here to release the catch, which allows this section to pull forward, Once it's pulled all the way forward, your bed makes up as you can see here. When not in use as a bed, the infill cushions live underneath the worktop surface here. The control for the Sargent solar panel unit is located in the cupboard here, and obviously again this time of the evening there's no light, so there is no activity on the solar panel.
The awning on the outside of the vehicle, you have a hole which is designed to be inserted up into the front of the helmet and then turn the handle accordingly. Pops out, wind it to a midpoint about a metre or so from the vehicle, and pinned up inside the helmet you have retractable legs. Fold them down, there's a locking lever which has to be pushed up to allow the legs to remain secure. Lock it up so that you have an even distribution, and then continue winding and walking the legs out until you've got it fully extended to your desired position. Full extension on the awnings, approximately 2.5 metres. They are sunshades, not storm shelters. So wet or windy conditions, you need to make sure they're put away properly. And that secures the awning. Notice these don't lock out straight. They always stay in a dog leg position in order to retain the tension to the fabric. It's the reverse process for pushing it away. So position the legs diagonally towards the vehicle and then begin the process of winding the awning back in. Again, when you get to the midpoint, fold the legs back up by retracting the lock lever. They're spring loaded on the legs, so they should lock up. There's a little V-shaped piece up inside the helmet for them to secure against, and then continue winding the awning back in until it locks back inside the main casing.